This is it. Don't get scared now.
When we think of an underdog, we often think of an unlikely sports hero. Someone who made the game-winning play even though they just took a dump on the 50-yard line. But what if I told you that not all underdogs wore a uniform, and that the greatest underdog performance of all time wasn't a guy with advanced CTE defeating a Russian cyborg, but instead an 8-year-old kid from Chicago? Kevin McCallister got the short end of the stick. He was denied pizza, terrorized by his older brother, and that shitbag of an uncle basically told him he didn't care if he showed up in the runaway train video. It's not simply that his family made him sleep in a carbon monoxide-filled attic that made him an underdog. It's that he was left all by himself to do battle with the wet bandits, two oddly shaped criminals who wanted nothing more than to stuff Kevin headfirst into a wood chipper. But little Kev wasn't having it and unleashed a house of horrors that showed why he was truly the good son. This was 1990, so there weren't any Reddit threads titled "How to Erase Someone's Brain with an Iron." You couldn't YouTube "What's the easiest way to crack a man's femur in half." His 8-year-old ass was on his own. And when I was 8, there's no way I was fighting off two dudes who had over 500 at-bats in a prison softball league. Harry and Marv doubled down, of course, because they couldn't believe a kid who weighed as much as a large pumpkin was kicking their dicks in. But Kevin didn't budge. He said, "Hey, how about I launch a couple of Benjamin Moore paint cans right off your grill piece?" Now the haters would say Kevin didn't do it alone, that a guy who had a freezer in his basement labeled human thigh bones came over and Sammy Sosa'd the boys into the ICU. But that doesn't take away from this underdog story. For 3 days, Kevin took the fight to the enemy. He said, "You may be stronger than me, you may outnumber me, but you don't have what's inside this chest. A heart of a champion that says, I'm willing to spend the rest of my childhood in a juvenile detention center for lighting your skull on fire." It's important to remember things didn't have to work out this way. In fact, it's a miracle there's not a Kevin McCallister Don't Leave Your Kid at Home to Go to Paris memorial fundraiser every year. It's a miracle Buzz didn't live with crushing guilt because his last words to his brother were "Eat shit, needle dick." It's a miracle Mrs. McCallister didn't go off the deep end and drink so much white Zinfandel that she ended up selling used pantyhose outside of Bulls games. Because one kid beat the odds. One kid said, "I may die someday." But that day will involve a handle of spiced rum, a pack of marshmallows, and an unauthorized jet ski on Lake Michigan. And that day, my friends, is not today.
You guys give up or you're thirsty for more?